Hello everyone, sorry about this slightly late start as we started. My name is Random Gamer Riven and my co-host...
I'm Random Gamer Dragoon.
My co-host is Random Gamer Dragoon tonight. I'll just turn up the game volume. Apologies, I've got to keep it down a bit. I have to be a little bit aware that we did a video previously on this game, and although the in-game music is fine, if for any reason we play the video introduction, we will get a content ID and the stream will get killed. So I do have to be very cautious with the music. So basically you cannot show the opening intro in the slightest in this form. So this is Gundam Endless Wing Duel. If you can pass me the manual, Dragoon. It was released in 1996. It was published by Bandai and basically supposedly released by Bandai, but it wasn't. It was shadow developed by Natsume, who had previously done the Power Rangers game, fighting game as well. Now, this is basically what I describe as an absolutely fantastic Super Nintendo fighter. There are 10 characters in total, as we were just commentating. The boss character is a cheat code. You have to press L trigger button 4 times, R trigger button 4 times, LR, 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 LR again, alternatively. And you have to highlight tail geese, and if you do that, you will unlock it. So it's L trigger 4 times, R trigger 4 times, and then press LR, 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 LR. So do that 4 times each, and basically there are 16 button presses, 4 Ls, 4 R's, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pressing L and R alternatively. They're not pressed together, they're pressed alternatively. You have to highlight tail geese, and that will unlock Miliardo, who is tail geese's real name, as he's actually wearing a helmet and stuff, working for Zek. So I'm quite aware of some of the Gundam characters due to the Gundam series being incredibly well known, although none of them were ever released in the UK until relatively recently. So shall we get on and kick some ass, Dragoon? So I've already selected my character. I was testing that the Zek cheat, or Miliardo cheat, was working. So yes, first fight, I'm playing as the boss. I think we've got to select our levels as well. We give a handicap. So basically this is what happens when the developers clearly look at a game and say, yes, we want to make X-Men Children of the Atom on the Super Nintendo, and that's exactly what they did. This is an absolutely fantastic Super Nintendo game. Need the manual, Dragoon, or...?
No.
I'm out for blood, seeing as I lost the last couple of fight nights, so... We're now on the... This is the 4th one, isn't it? Yeah. So thanks for everyone who watched the stream last night. It was quite a busy stream actually doing Kingsley. I was quite surprised seeing as we previously covered Kingsley. This, however, is a very different game. This really is basically just X-Men Children of the Atom on the Super Nintendo, for want of a better word. It's fantastic. Although X-Men Children of the Atom has 12 characters, this only has...
He does a lot more damage, the boss.
Yeah, Miliardo does. He's in Epoch, he's ridiculously powerful. Shenlong! You must defeat Shenlong to stand a chance.
Whether that's a Street Fighter reference.
Yeah, I do wonder that. Whether it's Shenlong was an incorrect translation. It was actually you must defeat my was it Shoryuken, and they translated it Shenlong, and that became their sense. I mean, the animation in this is just fantastic for a SNES game. The sprites, this puts every Capcom Street Fighter game to shame, because I always felt Street Fighter was a bit pants on the Super Nintendo. Well, that's a revelation. I meant the Street Fighter was a bit pants. Well, it was. It doesn't look anything like the arcade.
It's not as close to the arcade. Well, arguably now they probably could have done a better rendition, but... It's always a weird thing. Whenever you see people hark back to like the Amiga or the SNES version, it's like, well, by the time the Saturn came out, you could get picture-perfect conversions of Street Fighter. So why would you want to play an inferior version?
Yeah, it's weird when people say, "Oh, I want to play the Mega Drive version of Street Fighter." Why? Why would you want to play the crappy Mega Drive version?
I mean, they were good for the time because they were what you had at home, but they weren't in the arcade.
Yeah, I mean, it was bizarre when they had them on Virtual Console. You're like, no, just put the arcade versions on because the home versions, unless they're the Saturn or the... So, as this is Gundam, there is a lot of emphasis on guns in this. You do have a gun energy bar. This character is... she is well overpowered. She's basically Magneto. She's got a full range energy shield and all sorts. And there goes the Storm Lightning Beam attack. I mean, this literally is X-Men Children of the Atom on Super Nintendo. I shouldn't do that because that's the X-Men music, but this is just such a good game. This is such a good game. This is one of those games on Super Nintendo I never knew about till I think about 5 years ago, and the minute I played it I'm just like, yeah, I'm buying this, although it took me till last year to finally get a copy. I think it's even got super jumps as well. I think if you do down up or something like down down. I mean, just look at the animation there. It's just fantastic animation.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, okay, it's not quite as vibrant as some of the Capcom arcade games, but this is certainly a closer... It certainly proves that a version of something like X-Men Children of the Atom could have been done on the SNES. Capcom, the later beat-em-ups, Capcom didn't really try. I guess they took one and thought, right, we can't do it, so we won't even... I mean, okay, yes, the Saturn's version was missing frames of animation.
You actually look at the Alpha port they did, and you just look at this and you just think, actually, the Alpha port, the fact this doesn't use the SPC chip, and Alpha did. So Alpha uses a chipset and probably looks worse than this. This doesn't use any special chipsets and just looks... It makes you wonder what happened if they'd actually... No, I'd actually bet money Street Fighter Alpha 2 on Super Nintendo was shadow devved. One of those many games that Capcom claimed they developed and didn't actually. Yeah, you can adjust your settings here, so you've got a handicap. I did actually look at there is actually, it's quite a popular game in fighting tournaments, so there is actually a proper tier list for this. You can, there are quite a lot of infinites apparently, so just the animation's just lovely. And it feels so good to control as well, doesn't it? It's just one of those beam-ups that just plays so well.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps there's a little limitness with some of the character moves. Most of them only have 2 or 3 moves listed in the manual.
Yeah, there are a few things. There are 1 or 2 collision issues, and the balancing is there are a couple of characters that are just totally outclipped by a couple of others.
It's also not necessarily
Optic
that
Blast.
when you can do the supers as well.
You've got to wait till your bar's fully charged. You can do EX attacks effectively when your bar's not quite fully charged. This guy just can cover ground so quickly. Ooh. I have that classic sort of Konami boss flashing there when he takes a hit.
Again, you've got nice like intermission sequences just before the round starts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... I mean, I think Marvel Superheroes... So obviously, I think this game must have been part inspired by Marvel Superheroes and Children of the Atom, because there's so much. It's clear they... It's like, to me, Natsume were like, yeah, we can do this. We could do these. Come on, Capcom. I just keep throwing that. That's ridiculous. Some of these... As you half circle forward, and I just quarter circle forward. No, it's half circle. I just throw the spear at you. Oh, I'm just absolutely demolishing you. Down. Yeah, he's a good character. Death Cypher's a robot name, so you got Wing Gundam, Gundam Heavy Arms, Gundam Sandrock, Gundam Wing Zero, Gundam Shenlong, Gundam Veta, Gundam Tailgeese, and also Epoch, which is a boss, and Gundam Mercurus. I think you've got the Gatling gun guy, I've got the sort of close. Have a suspicion the stage is picked according to player 2. As you can see, there is an awful lot. Gundam is about shooting, so there is a lot of range on this. But the music is absolutely fantastic. Annoyingly, we can't actually listen to it as we play at the minute, so...
Yeah, most of this guy's attacks seem to be mainly missile based.
There's a couple of advanced tech. There's a lot of advanced mechanics in this. I was really you can super jump. I just can't quite remember how you do it. There's a lot of advanced mechanics in this one. It really is a lot of advanced. It's one of those games. If you're a fighting fan, if you play this, you will be surprised all the stuff this does on Super Nintendo. just love the animation there with the sort of dragon stuff. Yeah, Hero Yi, his Gundams are fantastic. Again, you got that awesome. I'm loving that dragon spear. Yeah, you're.
Yeah, the Wing Zero is definitely a more powerful suit. It feels a lot more damaging than the others. So there are. It looks like there are a few slight balancing issues with this. If you're after a game that people are going to fight fairly on, well, you know what professional tournament fighters are. They'll use whichever is the most broken character to win by a mile and play that character.
Yeah, hence why he had the Smash Bros tournament with where they booed all the Bayonetta players. Well, guys, you know what? If your games are that broken, you shouldn't be playing professional tournaments on them. Quite frankly, it always surprises me the amount of professional tournament players. It's just like, well, these guys, if all they're doing is using the cheats, they're not professional gamers.
There was some years ago an infamous Mortal Kombat 9 tournament, I believe, where everyone just played as Kung Lao because he was the most powerful character. I mean, yeah, he might be the most powerful character, but that's not in the spirit of the game. If everyone you go to see a tournament where everyone plays the same.
The Kung Lao v Kung Lao v Kung Lao. Well, that sums up professional tournament players, unfortunately. Well, maybe not all of them, but a vast majority. I'm not actually a fan of professional tournaments because they allow players to play as one character.
This one for this boss. Oh yeah, it selects.
Yeah, selects him automatically when you do it right. But yeah, I'm not a fan of professional tournaments because really professional fighting tournaments should be done like snooker, where you basically have to fight over a number of frames. And basically how this should be run is you should have to actually fight with a different character each frame. So basically there requires a proper element of strategy to it. Was that where you got to know when to use your best characters? You know, do you use them at the start? Do you hold them off for a sort of closer bouts at the end? Yeah, the Wing Zero Gundam, which is Hero. So we got Hero U versus Miliardo with the sort of main character of the storyline. I just demolishes the Wing Zero.
Just spamming the shoot attacks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The only problem is the AI in arcade mode is just utterly ruthless. The music is so good for this. So good. Apologies I had to quiet a bit. It's just I had to be a bit careful on content IDs. But yeah, if you're playing this game, you guys on the stream get to listen to the music because we've got it currently set to quiet. So what a comeback! Yeah, the Wing Zero is such a good range.
Again, that stage there, you saw the lift moving down, so you actually had quite an animated background, which is something you didn't see in any of the Capcom fighters on SNES.
No, all the Capcom fighters are... I mean, Street Fighter's good, but it's not great. This is... Wing versus Tail Geese. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think either of us have played Tail Geese yet. I'm playing as the normal Wing.
Yeah, I mean, the bulk of our Gundam experience comes from the Koei Temco games, Gundam Dynasty Wars, which we've both kind of enjoyed over the years. They are very large games as well, and will certainly give you an introduction into the series as they feature a large chunk of characters from that series.
Yeah, we need to finish the third and fourth, don't we? They did four. They haven't done any on the newer consoles, sadly. But the Gundam series, I mean, there's an awful lot of Gundams. Annoyingly, a lot of them have never been released in the UK, so held on some obscure Sky cable network. So it's actually really hard to buy the Gundams in this country. It's ridiculous. It's easy to see why Gundam has failed miserably in Europe, because you cannot buy half of them. Well, they recently released the original Gundam and Gundam Zeta on Blu-ray. I think it was like the first time. Did you just take half my energy bar out of one throw?
Did a fair amount of damage.
But yeah, that's right. This guy is just. I just want, every time I see half the laser beam attacks, I wanted to say like optic burst or proton beam. Right, my Marvel superheroes. Such a good game. This, such a good fighting game. Light to heavy. That's how the combo system works. Very much. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised some of the Capcom guys worked on this because it plays so similar. Or people who just literally played the Capcom games, just like, yeah, just rip it off. Yeah, let's give heavy armor a whirl. Some lovely, there really is some nice background animation as well. Well, you've got a nice little ripple effect there. Now, there's an effect the PlayStation couldn't do in Mega Man X4, quite funnily. You've got like an interesting little ripple effect, which they actually removed for the Saturn version of X4.
PlayStation version.
PlayStation version, yes, PlayStation version. My mistake, I misspoke. But as you can see, this really is, for a Super Nintendo game, this really does... and the fact it doesn't use any additional chipsets as well, it's just so incredibly well made. Fantastic sprites. It's one of those games, just every single frame, unless the character's literally doing nothing, just looks lovely animation. I mean, they clearly did borrow elements from X-Men Children of the Atom and Marvel Superheroes. I wouldn't even be surprised if they ripped the animation frames as... There's a previous Gundam game that, although it wasn't made by Natsume, I should stress, there's an arcade Gundam game that literally borrowed animation frames from SNK and Capcom games. Yeah, because this heavy arm's got the rockets as well. It's just such good fun. Shoot on the ground as well. That's just ruthless. You do have an ammo supply, so you'll notice the numbers to the right and left, but there are an awful lot of infinites in this game. I did see a couple of guides that literally just... There's a suit. I mean, you got lots of full screen explosion attacks to keep the distance. Sandrock that Dragoon's playing as a rather nasty sidekick as well. Oh.
Mission complete.
I'm not actually sure. Miliardo and Here You are basically the only characters really Gundam speaks of. A lot of the other characters sort of like little side characters in this. So you've got, I think we've got Miliardo as Zex, Mercurus. I think Mercurus is Zex's love interest, and you've got Vate as well, who I think is the main villain's love interest, although there isn't really a true villain in this one. The main villain, bizarrely, so his main Gundam isn't featured in here, which suggests this wasn't quite finished, this game, because I suspect the main villain appears in the ending, or not necessarily he's a villain, he's sort of an antagonist, as they often use. Yeah, Death Scythe is brutal. He's got such good range. There's a couple of characters that I'm trying to avoid playing as, because you can just destroy your opposition as. You must defeat Shenlong to stand a chance. Let's find out. Can Dragoon defeat Shenlong?
Okay, again, the boat here riding along on the water is very reminiscent of Colossus's stage from X-Men COTA.
Yeah, we get on the strap. I mean, again, it just looks lovely. You've got all this movement. Yeah, he is such a good character, Death Scythe. There's a couple of characters you just think, yeah, they're just not as good. And there's nothing worse than feeling like you just can't do anything against another character. Well, I do quite like... Oh, that's quite a good range attack. Let's get those combos in there. Because you can just keep throwing that spear. I just can't... you just have no reply to it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, Dragon Breath. Oh, damn it. So close, yet so far. A bit like my Viewful Joe video the other night when we were doing the streams. I should say, if you're looking for a non-stream video, we do have a couple in the works. We've just been streaming. So I've been working on a video review that's nearly finished now. Nearly being the optimal word. But I haven't actually been the tail geese yet. This is one of those games that a lot of people still aren't aware of, but really, if you want a really good Super Nintendo fighter, I mean, it is going up in price at the minute, although I suspect with the current world situation, a lot of these games are going to come down in price, but this is just fantastic. It really, I mean, just look at the size of these sprites on SNES. So I realise a lot of people aren't aware of it. But, you know, if you're a fighting fan, you should be aware of this game. If you don't know about this game, then you're living under a rock. This is a phenomenal game. I think, as Super Nintendo fighters go, this really shows off the pinnacle of what the SNES could do in the right programming hands. And kudos to the guys at Natsume. This is just fantastic. Oh, you got the Magneto shield on. That's just utterly game-breaking. A lot of the character moves do remind me of X-Men Children of the Atom Marvel Superior. Not all of them, but there are an awful lot. So Tail Geese, I think, yeah, he's more a throwing one. I've got a nice... This placing looks so well as well, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure it picks the stages based on the character you...
Yeah.
It's always player 2's stage, so to speak. So how do you find this Dragoon, seeing as I played this?
No, it's a decent enough fighter. I think perhaps a few characters are somewhat unbalanced, and there's definitely an advantage from... So certainly the Wing Zero feels and Death Scythe both feel like more competent fighters.
Proton Beam!
Yeah, I mean, you've got a full screen, transparent laser weapon attack.
I mean, there's lots of transparency. This really is an impressive title. If I have one gripe, it'd be nice if there's a bit more background destructivity, seeing as, you know, we're massive Gundams battling out. I think it's very easy to trap opponents in the corner as well.
With the weapons, yeah.
Yeah, the guns, it's very, very easy. Although it makes a bit of a change, because there are two most model beat-ups don't tend to use blasters and guns in them, so...
But there is this, you could literally sure you can shoot back, but you can instantly see there.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a limited ammo, so eventually you do run out of ammo. And in fact, certain characters, but the thing is that I think largely you have so much ammo that unless you're literally spamming in the corner, you won't run out of ammo.
I'm not a big fan of these two mechs.
Thank you for your like, whoever just hit the like button, thank you. It's always nice to have likes hitting our streams, thank you very much. These are the villain, well, I suppose antagonists. That's the common word to say. So we've got the two girls, one of which I think was actually Miliado's love interest. I think because the main love interest in this hero, Yi, is Miliado's sister. I think in the end, Miliado and they're all fighting for some silly reason, so they all... Yeah, so Mercurus, she is ridiculously powerful. Yeah, pin you in the corner, I can just absolutely destroy you. I was watching, there was a fighting game stream, so I was looking at... Before we stream this, I do tend to check other streams just to make sure we ain't going to have like major copyright issues. I'd already done a video on this, so I was aware that we do have an issue where we can't show the intro, but that's it. We can show the rest of the game fine. And there was a stream where clearly the presenters had no idea about the game whatsoever, and it was painful to watch. They were just like, yeah, it's a game, yeah! It's just like, why are you commentating? Why are you commentating? Sort of summed up professional tournaments, I have to admit. Yeah, I really wish we could have the music on, but of course we pick up the mic. I'll try and do the super actually there, because they're all sort of they're all sort of quarter circle towards, quarter circle back. Some real... So fast paced as well, it's just in and out fights so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You're trying to win as Miliado again. Yep, yep.
Yep, giving the boss a go. Well, I mean, he's one of the playable characters. It's always nice when you can play as the bosses. There's nothing worse than when you get a beat map where you can't play as the bosses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded of Techromancer, where there are 3 boss characters you can't play as, and that is infuriating.
I think you can with action replay codes as
yeah,
well.
You can. I mean, with action replay codes, but it's always nice if the developers actually include the ability to play as the bosses naturally, rather than having to use a hack device to get inside a game to...
I mean, infamously, reviews of Street Fighter 2 on the Amiga, I very clearly remember the magazine showing them playing as the bosses, yet in the final game, that was impossible without the aid of an action replay.
I think it was like a weird disc change thing or something else that we could never seem to get to work, but some of you claimed it did work. He's got a quarter circle towards dash that you can do twice. Sandrock has that range on that, basically what I describe as Kano's blade. You see, this really is a combo heavy fighter. Really, really good stuff. Really. Yeah, he's got Dragon Punch as well. I mean, he's quite a well-rounded character, the boss. He's not actually top tier when I checked. I think it was one of the others was top tier.
No, because you can knock him out. Most of his attacks are close range, and obviously with this, he doesn't actually have a gun.
He's got the whip instead, the sort of whip sword.
Again, a lot of these characters do an awful... I mean, this guy, I noticed this when I was playing...
Sandrock's got
he does a lot of chip damage with his super. And he charges up his super bar as well quite heavily doing the super.
Oh yeah, because I'm already at like half on my...
Yeah, he's already half full, meaning you can throw that out like there's no tomorrow.
Let's do Hero Yi versus Hero Yi. So you've got the super enhanced version. I mean, it just looks, for a Super Nintendo game, it just looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Although this does take the Exponential TA where some of the attacks do directional, which is interesting because obviously you can't jump that, you don't jump that much.
So there's the light one, and then you do the heavy one. So lights, and then I do the heavy, which is jump further. You can do super jump in this. I think I can't quite remember what it is. There are a couple of like mechanics. This is one of those games that I was surprised how many mechanics it actually had. It's one of those fighters you wouldn't think Natsume. I mean, they've done some great games. Natsume, a really fantastic developer, but you don't think of Natsume in the forefront of fighting games, and yet here we have a 1996 Super Nintendo fighting game that is just on par with the arcades at the time, which is quite surprising. It's a shame a game like this didn't get more appreciation in the time. It has gained in appreciation and the price has skyrocketed so much, that's fair to say. It cost me around £60 to pick up, so it's not cheap anymore. You will pay more than what it was originally released at, unless you can get lucky, unless you're buying cart only, but I just don't buy cart only, so I got it complete with the box and the manual and everything. I mean, yeah, you got that upper slash to the Wing Zero gun down. Love getting all the flames, explosions. Just one player wins. Just the presentation in this is so slick as well. Capcom's presentation was slick, but not on the home game. Their presentation, you look at, I mean, we could do Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the SNES at some point, because I do have a copy, and it's one of those games that you play and you think, meh.
Yeah, but that said, this was made, what, 6 years after Street Fighter 2 first appeared on the market?
Yeah, but so Alpha 2 uses the SPC chip, and Alpha 2 doesn't look anywhere near as good. It's got much smaller sprites and everything. It's quite a surprise, really, when you play this and think, ooh, Alpha 2. You'd expect Alpha 2 to be sort of... Yeah, I've been trying to be sort of a bit neutral and not play as Death's side, because he is so... Just look at the range. You got shadow moving as well. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, the light attacks in that combo do very little damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so over... He's definitely one of the stronger characters. Tail Geese isn't bad. I've got a quite nice throw maneuver, but... But I can't. Your Death Scythe has such good. He has such good range and the ability to keep players at range. Now. Oh, come on! You pull out the super and expect a combo. That should have been a combo. You're doing quite a lot more damage than me as well. I think Tail Geese, I've got to get the throws in, but I just can't get... Yeah, Death Scythe is a really powerful character. It's a really lovely character. I mean, yeah, again, it's just, everything's just superb about this. I just cannot, I mean, as a fighter, it's a little bit, could be a little bit smoother, I suppose. I mean, it is 60 frames a second, but it's one of those fighting titles where it doesn't feel as smooth as it could be. I think there probably could be a few more joiny animations. But it does look, I mean, this does look more like an arcade game than it does a Super Nintendo, because the sprites are just so lovely.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, because you got quite a heavy combo there. You didn't do that much damage compared to
No, the light kicks into the heavies don't.
It's weird. Whereas Tail Geese does an awful lot of damage. So they're blasting your face with the Gatling gun. Oh yeah, he's got a ground Gatling gun. He's the sort of Shenlong's the sort of Chun-Li character, I feel. Whereas I'm the sort of probably the Guile character, I think, because he's a bit of a turtle. This guy, you can turtle at range. Lots of head cannon shots as well, which is sort of Gundam. Part of the course for Gundam, I suppose. Oh. You must defeated by Shenlong.
Yeah, this guy's got the desert background, which is quite a nice stage.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely it is tied to Player 2's background.
I wonder if in some cases that's to help maximise the character, so having different characters on different stages the backgrounds may be designed to use a bit more RAM or less RAM video RAM based on the character size. So it might actually be a limitation of the cartridge why you can't choose a stage, or just they didn't bother to program it in.
It's interesting theory. Could be the case that certain characters are designed to use, but then remember you can play on every stage because every character can fight in arcade mode. So it's probably just more they're too lazy to program it in. And probably the one thing with this game is it doesn't have that many modes. You get verse, you do get survival, you get an arcade, but arcade you don't get the characters do not have endings in arcade. There's like one generic ending for everyone, which is a bit naff. You fight Epog, you win, that's it. You can't play as Epog in arcade mode either, which is a bit pants as well. So you can't play as the boss, so I assume he doesn't have... Well, he must have a second colour, because I assume you can both play as him. But yeah, you cannot play as Epog in story mode. I mean, he's a pain to fight as well. I think one of the playthrough I did, I think he took something... He really did take me ages to beat, and I had to edit them all out. The AI is very, very defensive, so it really is a case of knowing what the AI will do.
I think it's a throw cancel, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it. Rising upper. You can actually get a lot of the moves literally pressing left and right, so you have to actually you've got like the hurricane kick as well. I think if I have one thing, there is a flow issue with some of the moves, so some of them don't flow as well as perhaps I would like. Eponia, we're not having much luck as Eponia.
No,
The AI just spams the thing, but you realise if you're like Sandrock, you just throw out the dagger constantly, and then you won't be able to. You can do it in the air as well, I should add. So. Yes, this sort of destroyed war factory. There's a few Gundam references in here with some of the background units. This is all Gundam Zero Wings, so you don't get any Gundams from any other game. So there's no Burning Fight, isn't it? There's no Gundam Zeta. There's no the original Mobile Suit. There's no Gundam Zeta Zeta. It's just Gundam Wing.
Armor, Ray, and Char, Aspinall are not playable characters.
Would have been nice if there was a character out of the world, but I assume a lot of the time they wanted to. I think a lot of these games were released. A lot of the Gundam games were released at the same time to basically advertise
the series that was going on at the time. Yeah.
So basically, like advertise said Gundam game, and then. Sort of slash there to end it. Yeah, I mean you do get range on the units. You get some really nice long attacks as well. So you've got the range, you've got the visuals. It's just incredibly well made game. I mean, you could almost argue this looks almost like if you had a full screen, it could be an early Sega Saturn or PS1 game because it does look so good. And there are actually some good Gundam games on the PS1. Yeah, even if you don't hit with them, a lot of the attacks do very heavy chip damage. You're trying to chip me out, aren't you?
Yeah, he does a lot of chip damage, that guy. Indeed, that attack with Hero Use, I did have to change my guard based on the direction you were coming from.
I've got a cold cup of tea here. Yeah, it's that good. I'm not actually drinking my cup of tea, so. So we've got Broken Mech 1 versus Broken Mech 2. These two characters I regard certainly as two of the better two. The problem with tier lists is they can be a bit functional because you don't know how good the characters are in the tier list. Because tier lists themselves, you don't know how good the player is actually using the character. If everyone's familiar with a set character, so Sajet was infamously the top tier in I think Street Fighter 4 and Super in Street Fighter 2. Yeah, he's got a war. He's so powerful, Death Scythe. He's so. I mean, you can gain ground. If that attack hits, you just gain ground on them. He's such a distance closer. If that hits, you can just bam, you've got the distance.
Yeah, some of the other.
Let's see what happens in the stream there, because we just had a blackout on the TV, but that was usually a signal interference. Yeah, so it's not one on the actual capture, but we see it on our. Sometimes TVs can be a bit bad for not blocking out the signal on some cases.
Yeah,
he is so overpowered. He's incredible. He's definitely top tier Death Scythe. He's definitely top tier.
Yeah, I think he's the most powerful character in the game by quite a margin.
Actually, Sandrock. Sandrock or Terra. No, I'll do classic gun. Alright, you got the Abora at the see,
Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, in the background. I just really love the music of this game as well. Such a good soundtrack for Super Nintendo. Again, you're streaming out supers already, and there's certain characters that seem to be able to get their super bars up really, really quickly. Oh yes, I forgot he's got that half circle back, and I can dive at you. I should do that more.
Mission complete.
You only won the first round. You've only won the first round, Dragoon. Should actually be better seeing as I did my playthrough. Was it 0 or
Throws do a lot of damage in well in this, so
yeah, it's
when you miss, you're best countering with a throw.
There is a lot of there is an awful lot of infinity stats. I do know a couple of the. I did see a few sites that like just press this, spam this, and it's just like you'll get an infinite. It's like, well, that's not really in the spirit of fighters. I'm not entirely a big fan of when you see a fighting tournament, someone does an infinite, and you're just like, well, that's not really that skillful. Anyone can remember a button press to. It's actually far harder to win a fight when you don't have an infinite, and to be honest, infinite shouldn't be part of a game. If your game's an infinite, it's a badly designed fighting game. I think, yeah, I think the chip damage is probably the one issue. So certain mechs do have the ability to do so much more chip damage than others. Yeah, you've actually nearly run out of ammo. I'm running ish low. That's the thing, you do have the ground attack where you can hit me when I'm on the ground. You can follow up in this. Unlike a lot of 2D fighting games, you can strike on the ground. So you do have the advantage of being able to hit.
How many people actually been watching?
Yeah, I think Mercurius is one of those characters that, again, she's sort of she's got some great range. Like Sandrock's not bad. You can basically just spam his dagger throw. Basically, you can just that's just basically spam that if you want to win matches. Yeah, the AI is really annoying because it's precision. Literally it will do it knows exactly what mode. Lightning Storm. I just feel like saying that whenever it's like Lightning Storm.
Ooh, yeah, he's got some kind of power driver as well.
Don't worry, that attack's actually pretty good for keeping people up. Yeah, she's really good for just keeping you in stun lock.
There we go, bang! And that move does an awful lot of damage, that body slam.
Yeah, you took out nearly half my energy bar on
yeah,
that.
it's a good...
Some of these characters do have rather powered moves, I have to admit. All's fair in love and war, as they say. You can hear the chink of the from one boss character to another, so I'm now absolutely wreck half. You want to play as the boss? I'm going to play as Death, so... Yeah, you can actually follow up nicely with that. Oh, I just wasted that special. Occasionally you can... Yeah, so if you throw the low one, it will do like a constant hit. If you throw the heavy one, it does the teleport warp. So the low one does like a spin drive attack on. So really, you do have the variable attacks like X-Men. It is actually... There's a lot of how you play this. Yeah, it's the fact he can close ground so ruthlessly is what puts him such a good character. I think this is probably going to be the final bout. So thank you for watching, everyone. I have been your host, Random Gamer Riven.
And I've been Random Gamer Dragoon.
My co-host. This is neck and neck battle. I really want to win this one. Yeah, you can stun lock with that light one. Oh, come on. Nice. Yeah, it's... You can do so much chip damage with that light one. And just follow up with the... Yes, yes.
Win by spamming attacks, so there's nothing
you can jump, you can super jump, you can actually... I think you can jump again in the air. There is a super jump.
I think you need a bar charge to do that.
One more bout, or do you want to finish there?
Nah, finish there.
Okay, thank you for watching, everyone. I have been your host, Random Game Riven, and my co-host, Random Gamer Dragoon. We will be finishing for tonight. Thank you for watching our stream, as always. As always, if you enjoy Randomised Gaming's content, please do hit that like button. And as always, if you enjoy our content, also, and you're not subscribed to our channel, please do hit that sub button. So this has been Gundam Wing Endless Duel, and I can say if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it on the Super Nintendo. It is a phenomenal game from 1996, admittedly long after the PlayStation Saturn action release, and it really shows what the SNES could do in the right hands. Highly recommended if you're a fan of Gundam, or if you're just a versed fighting fan at all. It's a shame it didn't get released in the West, but that's obvious, as Gundam has never really been a big sort of success in the West until relatively-ish recently. So do recommend it. And as always, thank you for watching. That has been the end of our weekly streams. As always, we will be back next week as we're still currently all in lockdown, so to speak, to cover and keep everyone a bit more cheerful. So I will arrange a new selection of games. There probably will be a new gameplay video coming on the weekend. I know I haven't done any normal videos this week, so I will probably do a gameplay video. I think I will probably use my Astro Boy footage this weekend to do a video. So stay tuned to that. That'll be Astro Boy on the Game Boy Advance, which is another cracking game. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be back next week to stream again. Thank you and good night, everyone.